Hey everyone, Mano here. Season of the Undying is coming to a close, and unlike seasons in the past, the Undying Seal will not be available for you to get after Season of the Dawn starts up. A lot of people have been chasing the Harbinger Seal, but honestly, if you're a completionist, I think that's a little foolish, because the core Shadowkeep content is going to stick around for the next year. So instead of leading with a Harbinger Seal guide, I decided to put together the fastest and easiest guide on how to get the Undying Seal. This is going to include every shortcut and glitch that you can use to get this seal as fast as possible. I've been pretty busy with work, streaming, and personal life, and I was able to do it very easily. I've seen quite a few other videos that actually run through what the achievement is and they say here's the fastest way to do it, but honestly I haven't been happy with them and I wanted to make something that was a step up for my community. So from the making of this video, you have 20 days to complete all the activities, so let's not waste time and get down to it. First off, you'll need to complete the Undying Season badge. This is probably the most grindy badge since the Reckoner Seal, but it's very doable if you stack activities and understand how to be efficient with your time. The first thing to go after is your 3 ritual weapons for this season, including the 3 emblems and shader groupings that you earn through those activities. Those ritual weapons are Edgewise, Randy's Throwing Knife, and Exit Strategy. The 3 emblem and shader groupings that you'll need to earn are Timeless Vigil, Burnished Blade, and Living Vestige. You're going to earn that through playing Strikes, Gambit, and playing Crucible. We'll focus on one weapon and emblem grouping at a time and in the order that I would recommend that you start. Of all the things that you'll need to do for this seal, Gambit is really not one of them. The best move for you to do is to get Exit Strategy, the emblem, and the shaders and get out of Gambit as fast as possible. To earn Exit Strategy, you'll need to earn 5,400 points from Gambit, as well as 125 medals and 150 SMG kills. This is very simple to complete. The key is to skip the massive big enemies and constantly depositing motes. What you need to do is focus on getting to the small garbage ads and killing them as fast as you possibly can. Also, it's smart to use an SMG with a damage boost perk, as well as some type of reload or backup mag spec. The best weapons to use for the SMG kills are, no surprise, Recluse is obviously going to be your top choice, followed very closely by Risk Runner and Huckleberry. Huckleberry is a really good choice if you don't have Recluse because it has Rampage on it, and also the exotic perk Ride the Bull allows you to pour through waves of enemies. The only problem with this is that it is a kinetic weapon, so if you have any shielded enemies that you're trying to deal with, you'll need another weapon to peel the shields off first. It might even be worth it to run 2 SMGs for this, as wins, depositing, etc. doesn't really make progress to getting the gun. Risk Runner is also a good choice, especially if you can proc its exotic perk Arc Conductor. Being able to kill lots of mobs of ads and not having to reload can really help with the SMG multi-kills. Other legendary options that would be good are Mida Mini Tool, Callus Mini Tool, or a decently rolled Bug Out Bag. As soon as you get all the multi-kills, turn back to damage weapons for killing bosses and getting kills. Also, you should now only be running Gambit Prime. The reason is that Gambit Prime has more medal possibilities in the Destiny database, so it will be easier for you to earn 125 medals really easily. To earn points, you'll want to now focus on clearing lots of ads and also depositing lots of motes of 5. Don't try and stack up tons of large blockers, as if you die with those motes or an invader comes across, that's lost points and lost time. Now that you're pretty much done with everything that you need for Exit Strategy, you're going to focus on the Living Vestige Emblem quest. That's the Still at Large quest. At some point, you're going to get the right amount of points to actually go pick up Exit Strategy, so just go do that when you are completed with it. The 3 steps for Still at Large is relatively easy to follow, but a little harder to complete. Step 1 is relatively easy. Kill 600 enemies, bank 600 motes, and get your infamy rank to Brave. You'll honestly do that if you just pick up bounties from the Drifter and keep playing. Step 2 is a little trickier. You need to kill 1,400 enemies, reach infamy rank Heroic, but more importantly, you'll need to defeat 150 Guardians. This means that you might need to do some invading. If you don't feel comfortable invading, that's fine. It doesn't make it impossible, but it does make it last longer. If you are going to invade, then use the standard Gambit Slayer supers. Golden Gun with 6 shooters, Spectral Blades, pretty much any class on the Titan except for Bubble, Nova Bomb, Dawn Blade, Chaos Reach with Warlocks. You don't need to get the killing blow with this quest, but you do need to get damage on them if you are not invading. Step 3 is probably the hardest because it takes the most amount of time, and this is why Gambit Prime is important. You'll need to kill 600 challenging Taken, kill 2,400 enemies, and get to Fabled Infamy rank. Now, the reason why this is trickier is because the challenging enemies cannot be blockers. They have to either be envoys or primeval bosses. So if you're playing basic Gambit, you're not ever going to have more than one thing that's going to count towards this. So make sure you're running Gambit Prime. Make sure that you are the first person to the wizards and clear them as soon as possible. Once you're done with that, that will give you all the things that you need from Gambit. Next up, you need to choose either doing Crucible or Strikes. This is what you want to look for. If you are looking in the directory and you see that Momentum Control is available in PvP, get after the Crucible parts of it as soon as possible. However, if Solar Heavyweight is available in any strike activity and Momentum Control is not available, go into Strikes. The reason for this is because those two items are the largest things that impact how fast you can earn your ritual weapons as well as the emblems and shaders. So let's go ahead and explain the PvP Crucible questline for this season. The Randy's Throwing Knife questline requires that you get 450 Scout Rifle Final Blows in Crucible, earn 2,100 Glory Points in Crucible, and earn 14,000 medals or Guardians killed. The best way to get those 450 Scout Rifle Final Blows in Crucible is to use a Jade Rabbit in Momentum Control. It's a single headshot to earn a kill. I found the easiest way to do this in Momentum Control is to run a Spectral Blades Hunter. When you get a kill while crouched, it gives you the ability to see through walls for a few seconds. Because players are in Momentum Control, they often don't think about having to use standard PvP tactics, and oftentimes they just run around corners. They feel like they can get a kill if they run through and make the first shot instead of using proper positioning and things like that. They also like to run in big mobs because oftentimes if you have 3 or 4 guardians running at one in Momentum Control, you can easily kill that single player and catch them off their guard. So this is where this tactic shines. If you are on your Spectral Blades and you're crouching, you can crouch and chill while enemies come around corners and pick them off multiple times. It takes very little time to get 450 scout kills this way. If Momentum Control is not around and you still need to get those Scout Rifle kills, use Mida Multi-Tool and make sure that you keep your distance. Work to try and clean up kills as much as possible. Also, Rampage Scouts or Polaris Lance are also great choices to use. Next up, earning 2,100 points in comp. It is significantly easier than it used to be. I'd honestly recommend going into the solo queue for comp, as you will more often than not get the wins if you're at least halfway decent at Crucible. If you're still struggling with PvP, try to at least put a fire team together or stop by my stream sometime. Hashtag shameless plug. The reason why I really recommend the solo queue is honestly because you won't get put into groups, large groups that are rolling together, earning comp points. However, the real trick to this is actually the medals needed to earn Randy's. The quest description is not 100% clear, and often people are having problems making progress. Scout Rifle multi-kills do make the most progress, but a lot of people are having faster times when they actually earn medals. Say, for example, one of the easiest ones to get, especially if you're on console, where fusion rifles reign a little bit more supreme, is to try and earn cold fusion medals. You'll need to get 2 fusion rifle kills without reloading. Since most fusions have 2 shots in the magazine when you spawn up, it's very easy to do this if you are just being careful. By doing this and getting the multi-kills with scout rifles, you'll be able to earn Randy's very quickly. What you'll notice is that I didn't really explain how to get the Burnished Blade emblem. Honestly, you're going to earn this on your path to Randy's throwing knife, but here are the steps just so you know. First up, you've got the warming up quest. Step 1, win 5 Crucible matches, get to Valor rank 1, and defeat 900 Guardians. Step 2 is called Repetition is Key. Get 5 streaks, so 2 or more Guardians, defeat 2,250 enemies, and get to Valor rank Heroic. Finally, get to 4,050 opponents defeated and 30 Guardian multi-kills. And when they say defeated, all you need to do is get a shot on them and then they have to die. Most of this will happen on your way to Randy's. I honestly earned that probably about halfway through getting my Randy's throwing knife. So get those and you'll be able to progress to the next piece. Finally, we're going to move on to Edgewise and the Timeless Vigil inside of Strikes. For the Edgewise machine gun, you'll need to earn 1,000 machine gun kills, 1,500 solar kills, and 10,000 points scored. This is very easy to complete given that you have the right gear. You remember that if I said it was heavyweight and then solar, you should be running the Vanguard Strikes. If you do that, you will be able to pour through this very quickly. You should attempt to get a solar machine gun. If you don't have one, then the easiest way to do this is to go to the menagerie really quickly. It's part of the Forsaken expansion, and get a fixed odds machine gun. What you'll need to do is you'll need to input a rune of ambition into your first slot. It will say rewards you with machine guns, and then use any blue rune in the second slot. It doesn't matter what you put on the third slot. If you want to put range, handling, or anything else like that, doesn't matter. If you don't have the ability to do that, you can always use Thunderlord or other LMGs or other heavy weapons to earn the kills, and then use a different solar weapon for the other kills. It will take longer, but if you don't have access to Forsaken or a solar LMG in general, you'll have to do it that way. In any case, the fastest way to do anything in these strikes is honestly to load up a Nightfall, go in with either a 750 Nightfall or a 950 Nightfall, and use the time-proven Destiny 2 strategy of using lost sectors to farm rewards. What you want to do is load into either the 750 Nightfall or the 950, and the reason we use those is because we don't want people pulling us forward. We don't want to be match made, and at the same time, you don't want to hamstring the other teammates who may be wanting to actually run strikes. By doing this, that causes all those problems to go away. What you will do is load into any of these strikes, find the nearest lost sector with lots of enemies. After that, just farm all the kills that you need. As soon as you've killed all the enemies, go back to the entrance and go back into the lost sector. Keep doing this until you've gotten all the kills you need. I honestly skipped the bosses when I did this, and it actually made it go a lot faster. Just kill all the small ads and go back to the beginning. After that, go get 10,000 points in a Nightfall strike of your choice. The easiest way to do that is honestly just do one of the more challenging Nightfalls, not the Adept one, probably the 920 or the 950. After that, you've gotten everything you need for the Edgewise machine gun, and you can move on to the Timeless Vigil emblem. This is probably the most annoying part of all of these pieces. The emblem and the shaders and the quest line associated with it takes a very long time. Step 1 is stand guard. Defeat 30 bosses, accumulate 400,000 points, and get 450 void ability and grenade kills. The easiest way I've found to do this is just to run Middle Tree Void Sentinel Titan. Using the code of the commander and the void detonators on it, it makes the kills for the void very simple. The 30 bosses and points can easily be acquired when running the strikes. That step is pretty easy. The next step is called Bulwark. Accumulate 1,000,000 points, kill 75 bosses, and get 675 solar ability or melee kills. This is an easy place to show you how to do a glitch that makes this go way faster. Go get a solar warlock and an empty sword. In other words, there shouldn't be any heavy ammunition inside the sword. What you're going to do is go into a lost sector and just hit them with the empty hilt of that sword. Because of a glitch that exists in the game, that will count it as a solar melee kill. This is by far the easiest way to get the solar section all taken care of. You can run the strikes at your leisure. It's not a big deal. And best of all, you don't have to wait for your melee ability or your grenade abilities to come back. This glitch has only so far been confirmed on solar warlocks, but it may be possible to try it on other warlock classes. Feel free to let me know down below. I cannot confirm because I've already completed this portion of the quest. The third and final step is the thing that is going to take you the most amount of time. You'll need to kill 135 bosses, get 1,800,000 points, and then the biggest thing, 900 arc ability or grenade kills. The bosses and points are super easy, but the arc ability kills take a ton of time. So what I would do first is go and get all of the bosses and the points taken care of first, then go into a lost sector and start farming, because you will not be done with those ability or grenade kills by the time you're done with the bosses and the points. What I do recommend is running an arc warlock with arc web grenades, or using Top Tree Striker Titan with the insurmountable Skull Fort Helm. What you can do is you can run around a lost sector killing different enemies, and you'll be able to melee them with your charge and get your melee and grenade energy back. I did this while actually watching a couple of TV shows and just ran around and ran in and out of lost sectors. It took me very little amounts of time, but it does take time. So I'd really recommend getting after this particular badge as soon as possible. After you've gotten those 3 weapons and the 3 emblems and shader sets, you can then move on to the rest of the badge. To earn the Spear of the Fore ship, you'll need to complete a Nightfall at the Master difficulty. Make sure that you assemble a fire team with both Unstoppable and Anti-Barrier mods. Luckily, you don't need to have a score for this. All you need to do is actually complete that Nightfall. So take your time and don't rush when going for the ship. Next up, you'll need to earn Leviathan's Breath, this season's exotic weapon quest. I'm going to leave a link down in the description box below for a video on that, so this video doesn't get to be too long. To complete your badge, you will need to make sure that you have a set of seasonal armor. There is a ton of confusion about this. You can only use the substitutional armor for these quest steps. Now, if you've got the season pass, you'll be able to pick up any of that substitutional armor. It's going to be in your account anyway, but I was silly and deleted almost all of my armor. But it's easy to find other copies if you need it. If you go into your season pass, double check that you haven't actually deleted or used all of those pieces. If you have used all of them, you can easily get those pieces from running the Vex Offensive, which is going to be the next thing we talk about. Once you have all of your armor for your character, head to the moon, and while wearing that seasonal armor, do 10 public events. Nothing special here, just make sure you're wearing the armor. And since you're already doing public events, let's go ahead and take care of the Over the Moon seal step. There's some confusion about this as well. What you'll need to do is complete a public event. What will happen then is you'll need to look around the area where the public event got completed. After a few seconds or about a minute, the Vex will start to invade the moon. The Vex portals open up fairly shortly after they completed, so don't worry about if it doesn't spawn in right away. Give it a little bit of time. Once you find the portals of the Vex invading, you'll need to draw out the Overlord bosses. To do this, you'll need to destroy the Vex Hydras that spawn in with the portal bosses every time. Before you defeat the portal bosses, the 2 Vex Hydras must be killed. Once the portal boss is defeated, move to the next area and rinse and repeat a total of 3 times. If you've done it correctly, you have a chance to spawn the Vex Overlord boss. It is not a guarantee, and RNG seems to influence this. You'll need to do this in 3 locations on the moon: the Anchor of Light, Archer's Line, and the Hellmouth. There does seem to be some correlation where the location of the Trove Guardian is and the Overlord spawning, but I can't confirm this, as I have seen the Overlord spawn in locations where the Trove Guardian is not. While you're running all of these things, just use your finishers to defeat 100 enemies on the moon, which is another seal step and very doable at this time. While fighting the Vex on the moon, you should also change between a Void subclass and an Arc subclass by using grenades, melees, and abilities, supers, and things like that. You'll get those 2 triumphs completed. Because of the weakness of the Hunter Void melee, I would recommend that you use a Titan or a Warlock for this step. After all of the moon steps are completed and you have all your ritual weapons, shaders, and emblems, you can move on to the final step, Vex Offensive. Everything else that needs to be done for the badge can be completed here. Fair warning, You will be playing a ton of Vex Offensive, so be prepared and take breaks as needed. The most time-stealing part of this seal is the Offensive Expert Triumph. You'll have to land final blows, not defeats, final blows, with hand cannons, SMGs, bows, fusion rifles, and auto rifles. This thing takes a while. The best thing you can do is to find weapons that would work the best when taking care of this. Since this is a Vex activity and almost all of the Vex have void shields, use weapons that are void. I've compiled a list of weapons that I think you should use. For hand cannons, use Kindred Orchid, Midnight Coup, Spare Rations, Duke 44, things like that. For auto rifles, use any kinetic or void auto rifle with Outlaw or a damage booster like Kill Clip, Rampage, or Multi-Kill Clip. Gnawing Hunger, the Braytech Winterwolf that came with the Festival of the Lost, or an age-old Bond from Forsaken would all be good choices. For SMGs, obviously Recluse is still great, and now you have Exit Strategy, which hopefully you've already gotten. You can use that for SMGs. For fusion rifles, if you've gotten an Air Intel or the new Raid fusion rifle Zealot's Reward, I think that those are the best choices. I had a Zealot's Reward with Rampage, and it is a rapid-fire fusion rifle, which makes it very easy to kill lots of small enemies without using a lot of ammo. For bows, I'd use the Subtle Calamity Void bow with Rampage, or any bow with a damage booster if possible. Hush is also pretty great for this step. The biggest challenge you're going to face here, folks, is obviously the other Guardians that are trying to do the same thing in the amount of time that you are. A lot of people are going for the seal since it's better looking and it's a time-gated seal. Try to farm smaller enemies and leave the bigger enemies to your teammates. If you see a lot of other Guardians around you, move to a different location, as most of the time there will be other enemies spawning throughout the Vex Offensive. While doing this, you should also go after the precision or multi-kills with whatever weapon you have. That will help you to complete the other triumphs in the seal: Offensive Sharpshooter and Offensive Tactician. Sharpshooter is the precision kills, Tactician is the multi-kills. While completing this, it's very easy to complete the other triumphs. You'll need to destroy 100 oracles as a team, which is just naturally going to happen as you play it. Closing warp gates in the offensive, again, that will naturally get done as you're starting to farm, but at some point you're going to need to complete a Vex Offensive all the way throughout without dying. This is going to complete the perfect assault triumph. You'll also need to do 100 finishers in the Vex Offensive to clear the offensive finisher triumph. Honestly, for this, you just need to focus up, clear smaller enemies with your finishers, and make sure that if you're trying not to die, that you just keep your space and don't rush into things. As you're running the Vex Offensive, you'll need to get the 4 Vex Offensive weapons: Adorative, Optative, Subjunctive, and Imperative. There are 2 ways to earn them. You either get them from the Ikora bounties for the specific weapons themselves, or just complete the second encounter of the Vex Offensive. To be clear, to earn the chest from each encounter, you have to 100% each phase. That means killing the anti-barrier or overlord hobgoblins, so make sure you have a weapon equipped for that mod. Once you earn the 4 weapons from the Vex Offense, you should have completed the badge completely. Keep working on your Vex Offense Expert Triumph. That is going to take you a while. Then do the final piece, which is now available on November 19th, 2019. Defeat the Undying Mind 3 times. Honestly, this is going to be very easy to do. I actually think that they made it a little bit easier to do for some reason. They actually took out some of the harder enemies to kill, and now all you are faced with is the Undying Mind, which is a Vex Hydra with rotating shields. Once you knock out the white shields, it's very easy to kill them. Honestly, I was a little bit taken aback by how easy it was. I wasn't really happy with how the final offensive is actually taking place, but neither here nor there. Go ahead and get that Undying Mind killed 3 times, and with that, you will have your seal completed. Congratulations. Again, I stress on trying to do this stuff and engage in small bites, and if you need to take breaks and do different activities so your mind doesn't melt, do that quickly, but make sure you stay on it. Since this is time gated, this is your only shot to go after this really cool looking seal. I hope this video has helped, and if you are looking for more people to play with or some additional help, make sure you stop by my stream at twitch.tv/manodester777. Also join the Manoverse Discord. The link is in the description box below. If you are looking for other people to run PvP, strikes, Gambit, things like that, join our community. Also, if you like something in this video, a positive rating is greatly appreciated. Hit that subscribe button for more Destiny 2 content. Leave a comment down below. It helps the algorithm because, you know, YouTube is a thing. Thank you so much for watching, Guardians. Good hunting, and I'll see you next time in the universe of Destiny.